All right, so thank you so much for joining me. May 20th, Wednesday. Let's bow it in. Chinese, Filipino, Thai, Indonesian, French and Dog Brothers, Japanese. At some point, I will teach the salutations, like the actual salutation. I like that one, though, just because it encompasses everything. Let's start single stick, please. All right. And what I'm really trying to do between last week and this week is give you an overview of everything in the first level of my FMA core curriculum. So most of you have done this with me. Let's go right lead, stick in your right hand. So the first numbering system that I teach is called Eskrima 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we're super quick. For newer people, a diagonal, a horizontal, and then a thrust. And on the thrust, remembering, give a little bit of bend. We call it a palm up thrust, like you're showing off how buff your forearm is. It's what I like to say. Sometimes I'll say, do your Popeye impression. That's within the grasp of most people, even if they've never trained martial arts before. And we do a lot with those first 5 angles. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now let's finish this. 6, palm out. So on the right side of your body to the chest or clavicle. 7 is just the opposite side of the body, chest or clavicle with an arc thrust. 8, without opening up your hand, just spin that and hit the person in their right temple. Let the stick go low. 9, uppercut their knee, forehand. 10, uppercut their knee, backhand. Flip that over and hit them in their left temple. For 11, bring it down, thrust, and end on the opposite shoulder. So if you're right side dominant, you end on the left shoulder. If you are left side dominant, you end on the right shoulder. For reasons that I've explained before. If you end on the same side shoulder, it's just a lot of overexposure. Not that this necessarily guarantees you're not going to get hit, but it's a little bit safer. Okay, so super quick. One more time. 1, clavicle to hip. 2, clavicle to hip. 3, midline. 4, midline. 5, navel. 6, chest or clavicle. 7, chest or clavicle. 8, right temple. 9, knee, forehand. 10, knee, backhand. 11, left temple. Bring it down. 12, whatever I can get. Okay, chin, hand and chin, just the hand, whatever I can get. All right. So before, and we should have time, before I go into the other weapons configurations, I wanted to spend a little bit of time on some of the other numbering systems that I teach. And I want to talk a little bit about numbering systems versus targeting chains and things like that. So applied Eskrima Balintawak, we've looked at this before. 1, high horizontal. 2, high horizontal. 3 and 4 are what we just did. 5 is basically what we just did without the wrist twist, but I'm going to put this here so that I can do like a bayonet type motion. And I have rank in 2 different systems of Balintawak. They thrust like this. They do it like bayonet style, regardless of what angle they're doing. Okay, now 6, bring it up to the left side of your body. Your hand is inside and it grabs. Here's your 6. Okay, let me see. I'm looking at most everybody. Good. Here's your 6. 7 comes to the right side and then you grab. Here's your 7. And then now we're going to do 4 diagonals. So 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 1 backhand redondo. We block, and we're done with the numbering system. Okay, so again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then back. Okay, so another way to remember this one, 4 horizontals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 thrusts, 5, 6, 7, 4 diagonals, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 1 outlier redondo, and you're here. Okay. So again, this is applied Eskrima Balintawak. This is Master Virgil. I didn't set his photo out. Master Virgil Cavada, currently, well, I don't know if he stayed in the Philippines or not. He's in Hacienda Heights, is in eastern Los Angeles County. He was getting ready to move to Catmon, which is about 35 miles north of the city center of Cebu in the Philippines. But that's applied Eskrima Balintawak is his system. He is a senior student / instructor of Grandmaster Attilio. So it's that sort of Saavedra lineage, a little bit different than like Grandmaster Bobby Cavada or Grandmaster Nene, but still really interesting. Okay, anyway, so I'm going a little fast, but I wanted to give you an overview again about numbering systems and targeting chains. So we started with Eskrima 1, and later in my curriculum we learn the La Costa numbering system. Now you're like, well, wait a sec, isn't this Inosanto La Costa? Yes, but the La Costa numbering system is slightly different. The good news, if you know Eskrima 1, you can learn La Costa really, really quick. So first 5 angles are the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? One of the 2 things that you have to remember that's different. Switch 6 and 7. So La Costa, 6 is here, 7 is here. Second and final thing you have to remember about La Costa instead of Eskrima 1. Instead of diagonal shots to the temples, 8 and 11 are vertical shots to the clavicle. So 8, I come straight down on the person's right clavicle. 9 and 10 are what you're used to. 11, I come straight down on their left clavicle. And 12 is exactly the same. So it's not that bad. The first 5, no change. 2, 3, 4, 5. The first out of 2 things that I got to remember, switch 6 and 7. Here's your 6, here's your 7. 8, I come straight down on the person's right clavicle. 9 and 10 are what you're used to. 11, I come straight down on their left clavicle, and 12 is the same. So it's not that bad based on the foundation that you already have. So one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? Because think about it for a quick second. When you're doing Eskrima 1, here's your 6, here's your 7. Your 8 is downward diagonal to their right clavicle, right? 7 to 8. 7 to 8. And then 9 and 10 are what you're used to. 11 hits this, it goes to their, it's technically diagonal, but it doesn't go through. It goes to their left temple, and then you pull it to your right hip so you can thrust that 12. Well, when we do La Costa, here's your 6 and your 7. There's your 8. 9 and 10 are the same. There's your 11 to their left clavicle. And then 12 is the same. So very, very manageable. Okay? So we've done Eskrima 1. That's my core numbering system. That's the first thing that it doesn't matter how many years. You could come to me and say, well, I have a grandmastership in blah, blah, blah stuff. Great, good for you. Here's our first numbering system. Learn this, okay? So Eskrima 1. Applied Eskrima Balintawak, I actually teach also at the numbering system as part of the Balintawak requirements for the first level of my curriculum. So some people, you mean you have 2 12-angle numbering systems at the first level? Yes, I do. Because applied Eskrima is not that bad. Just remember high horizontal, high horizontal. This is the same 3 and 4. 5 is really the same. You just got to remember to bayonet. 6 and 7, you just switch the Eskrima 1, 6, and 7, and just remember to do the bayonet with the live hand. Then you got 4 diagonals, and then you just got to kind of remember that redonda and that block, and you're good, okay? I want to teach one more, and then we're going to get into the other weapons configurations. Now, I am not a collector, and I'm not showing off. This gentleman is my primary martial arts influence, period, in all things, okay? We study multiple styles. That's what's been modeled for me. Close your mouth, be respectful, be a genuine person, go and experience as many quality instructors and systems and organizations as possible. That's been said both, expressed both explicitly and implicitly, okay? There's no reason, because I go and train with, I can't help myself. If I see something cool, I want to go train it. I have 5 different instructorships in Filipino martial arts, okay? There's no reason if I'm working with somebody new to go, that's not how we do it. That's not an angle 1. No, of course, but how do they do it? That's what I'm interested in. What's their thought process? So for that reason, we're going to learn the Regino Illustrissimo numbering system, and then we're going to move on and blow through level 1. Okay, so angles 1 through 5, switch the 2 and the 4, and you're almost halfway there, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So instead of diagonal, diagonal, horizontal, horizontal, diagonal, horizontal, horizontal, diagonal, thrust. Okay? 2 uppercuts, 6, 7. 2 thrusts, 8, 9. And just remember that 9 closes. 1 outlier redondo, 10. Then just open. These are really neglected angles, what I'm about to show you. 11. So not rising, downward, this towards the knees. 12. Okay? If I didn't explore that system, well, we've just done 3 different 12-angle numbering systems. We wouldn't have those angles. We might not be aware that that was a possibility. Forehand low or backhand low towards the knees. We might only be aware of rising diagonals. So this is what I'm saying. I like to investigate and experience as many systems as possible. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 uppercuts. 6, 7. 2 thrusts. 8, 9, and just remember 9 closes. 1 redondo. 10. Open back up. 11, 12. That's it. So something that's also unique about Regino Illustrissimo, it alternates forehand, backhand for all 12 angles. Forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand. Okay, so one more time. So let's, how can we start to install some of these things? Switch 2 and 4, and you have the first 5 angles, almost half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and freeze. Okay, I'm on a forehand angle. So for this numbering system, that means a backhand is coming next. So just remember 2 uppercuts. 6, 7. I just completed a forehand, so that means a backhand has to come next. 2 thrusts. 8, 9, and then you just got to kind of remember that 9 closes because it sets you up for the 10. And then open up again, and just remember these 11, and 12. Those neglected angles, and you're done with the numbering system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, uppercut, 6, 7, thrust, 8, 9, 1 outlier redondo, and then I reopen, 11, and 12. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, uppercut, 6, 7, thrust, 8, 9, remember to close, 10, reopen, 11, 12. Okay. There's some neat things going on there. I'm not going to continue. There are some things there that will inform Kali or Kalis Illustrissimo, which is another numbering system. I know, well, didn't you say Illustrissimo? Yes, but that's the Regino Illustrissimo numbering. That's another one, a brother from Stockton, California, and who's related under that lineage, okay? There's some neat things going on there. There's some neat things that Applied Eskrima Balintawak gives me that I didn't have when I was all focused on single-handed strikes, whether that was Eskrima 1 or whether that was La Costa. Okay, so one more of everything, and then we're moving on. Okay, Eskrima 1. Everybody just follow me. I'll go at a nice pace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure your palm up. 6, 7. Don't open your hand for 8. Let it go low. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, let's go right into La Costa because La Costa is so similar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch 6 and 7. 6, 7. Come down straight to the right clavicle for 8. 9, 10 are the same. Come down straight to the left clavicle for 11. 12 is the same. Eskrima 1. I'm sorry. Pardon me. Applied Eskrima Balintawak. Excuse me. 1, 4 horizontal. 2, 3, 4. 3 thrusts. 5, 6, 7, 4 diagonals, 8, 9, 10, 11, 1 outlier redondo to this defense, which I hold for a quick second, and then I'm back to my fighting posture. Regino Illustrissimo, go a little slower, but you're all doing beautifully. 1, 2, switch 2 and 4, 3, 4, 5. I just finished on a forehand. I have a backhand coming, 2 uppercuts, 6, 7. I just did a forehand. I have a backhand coming, 2 thrusts, 8, 9 closes, 1 outlier redondo. Remember to reopen, 11, 12. Okay. And here's the other kind of non-Western way of looking at it. Let's say you only got 3 out of 4 of those right now. Awesome. Let's say you only got 2 out of 4 of those right now. Awesome. Let's say you only really installed 1 of those and you'll never forget it. Awesome. Great. Okay. I know we're in Filipino martial arts right now, but I'll say this and then we'll move into to something else. Bruce Lee had an expression. No disrespect to Bruce Lee. I don't like it. Okay. But his expression, if you got it, it belongs to you. If you don't have it, it still belongs to me. I understand. I no offense, Sigong. I see what you were going for. I like Eric Paulson's version. You get the techniques you're ready for. You get the techniques you're ready for. That's a very non-Western way of learning, though. I'm going to give you so much stuff. Whatever you're ready for is what you're going to get on any given day. Oh, you didn't get 25% of it? Don't worry. You'll get the 25% of it when you're ready. The 75% that you got was what you were ready for. So it's, to me, not trying to disrespect Bruce Lee at all. It's a much healthier way of looking at it. Okay, so now everybody close up. Backhand, right lead. We have the backhand series. Now I wanted to stick with first level of my FMA core curriculum. So we're single stick Inosanto La Costa still. I know I went on a little bit of a detour there. Just the ability to backhand wa-tick, whatever angle comes in, the ability to backhand wa-tick and make the X. Backhand wa-tick and make the X. Most common mistake, people backhand wa-tick, they open, they make the X, and now they're trying to do the backhand series from their forehand side. It's problematic. Always go back to, lately, the past few months, I've been calling this home base position. That seems to resonate with adults and children. Go after you backhand destroy, go back to home base, then make your X, okay? So that's the X. The other, and you know, against however many attacks come in. The next one, final one for level 1, backhand and make a backhand redonda, okay? And the redondo, everybody, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. This is also something that sometimes makes me wonder if I'm a bad instructor, because it's like when I see my students doing this, I'm like, didn't I explain this? The redondo is, I'm going to do it wrong. Everybody ready? Don't do it this way. The redondo is not a twirl. This is a twirl. I mean, I guess it looks okay. The redondo is a strike. Okay, my expression, I like to say it's a big circle of destruction. You just take out whatever you can get. I know sometimes people get worried, well, what about once this has gone through the potential target zone from here until it gets back to home base? You're talking about like a millisecond, okay? So hopefully you did damage, or if I missed, well, I might throw another one out there. Okay, so just let it go. Do as much damage as possible. All right, so backhand series level 1 or yellow belt requirements, just the backhand to the X, the backhand to the redonda. Okay, and then this is the next requirement and final Inosanto Lacosta single stick. This is a good example of a drill that's a little bit hard to translate over the technology, but it's what we can do. We would measure largo, so the tip of my stick would touch your hand and the tip of your stick would touch my hand. That's the way we measure largo. You would go for like straight down 12 o'clock for the top of my head, and I would roof. You would hit through. As I go to hit you, you would roof. Then you would hit me and I would roof. And we would just keep going back and forth. I'm offense. I'm defense. I'm offense. I'm defense. You're defense. I'm offense. You're defense. And now you're offense. Excuse me. Okay? That's a little basic and a little simple, but this is 1 count sombrada. Roof for roof. Sometimes you'll hear contra y contra sombrada. It just means counter for counter training. Okay? And however many beats. 1 beat, I'm defensive. Now I'm offensive. I'm defensive. I'm offensive. I'm defensive. I'm offensive. We have an A version of this and a B version of this. A, we learn it at largo, like we're expressing it now. So largo is the range where I could hit your hand, but I couldn't hit any other part of your body. Okay? It's too far away. So there's no hand check. The B version, we would both move in a little bit, and we would do this at medio range. So I roof and I check your hand either here, this is actually my preference, or here. Then I would feed you. You would be stopping me. And I don't mind explaining this. When we start this at largo, there's a little bit of what I like to call training artifice that doesn't really exist. I'm sorry, when we start this at medio, there's a little bit of training artifice that exists that doesn't really exist at largo. Because at largo, we might not necessarily be trying to take each other's heads off, but we're hitting through. Like you're supposed to hit low because that sets up your roof. This would be wrong to go here and stop at largo. When we move in for medio, we kind of pull it back. And even if our partner doesn't have a great check yet, we're not like trying to take them out. So that's what I mean by just a little bit of artifice we go a little bit lighter at this range until they really develop that checking hand. Okay, so it's the same drill. It's 1 count sombrata, roof for roof. The A version, we're doing it largo. There's no checking because you're too far away. The B version, when it's your roof block, you're checking either here or here. That's the only difference. Okay? So everybody grab a double stick. Everybody grab double stick. All right, and we've looked at this before, but so we should be able to go pretty quickly. Sticks here or here, okay? Whatever's gonna help you not hit with one and drop the other. That's a really good recipe for developing some habits that are gonna get you hurt. Even if you just spar, okay? You want these up. Just like when you box, keep your sticks in your hands. It would be like developing the habit of throwing your jab like this. It's a great recipe for getting knocked out really soon. Keep your sticks up. With weapons, the consequences are exponentially higher for developing bad habits. So either here, some people don't like this. Oh, if I put my sticks on my shoulders, it'll make me lazy. No, it won't. Okay, or here, if you're really opposed to that. Just don't drop one stick when the other's hitting. Okay, so Ikis, make the X with the right, make the X with the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. This is the first pattern that I teach. I teach this first both to adults and children. It's super simple. That's the whole point. People start to feel good about their coordination, and life is good. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm moving my body. Sometimes when I train people that with no prior background, it looks like this because they're just focused on doing the pattern right. They don't have the ability to, you almost got hit. They don't have the ability to move their lower body in coordination yet. And I'm fine with that. The focus is on doing the pattern correctly. Most common mistakes, and this is hard for me to do, so I'll do it incorrectly on purpose. I see forehand, backhand, backhand, forehand. That is incorrect. Forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 1, angle 2. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 1, angle 2. Okay, from the standpoint that angle 1 is a forehand diagonal from the clavicle to the hip, angle 2 is a backhand diagonal from a clavicle to the hip. Here, the same thing. Okay, it could be here on the shoulders, or you could be up. Just not this, right? This is wrong. Drop one. Oh, drop the other. Man, am I good. Oh, boy. Okay. Oh, bad habits. So sticks up. Really important. The other one is empty 6. High inward, low backhand, high backhand. High inward, low backhand, high backhand. The beginner might be here. High inward, low backhand, high back. No rotation, right? Just here, just doing it, focusing on the combination, excuse me. Okay. And then eventually put a little bit of body behind it, and I rotate a little bit. I'm comfortable shifting, comfortable moving. Okay. Most common mistake that I see is people do abanico style. They'll use their wrist. We are going to do that in some later combinations. Here it's your whole arm. I like to point out the elbow. The elbow is the connection point that makes this combination possible. Okay, so high inward, low backhand, high backhand. But that looks really sharp. Okay, then double stick versus single stick Abecedario. We started developing this, I believe, last week. There's only 2 variables. I start open. When I'm right hand dominant, I move laterally to my left as I scissor my sticks closed. Excuse me. When I scissor my sticks closed, I want to have, this is my right hand, I want to have my right hand accessible, meaning I'll do it wrong for you. This would be wrong. Because see now my right hand is behind is blocked by this left-hand stick, so I'll want to be here, okay? Over the years, I've had arguments in my academy spaces whether this is on top or in front. I don't care to engage in that. Whatever you want to call this, as long as the right hand is accessible, okay? So you're closing and moving to your left, hitting an angle 2 and staying closed. Then reverse scissor opening and moving to your right, hitting an angle 1 and staying open. That part seems to be easier for most people. So think of it as 2 variables. Close, hit, and stay closed. That's the first variable. Open, hit, and stay open. 1 and 2. Or close it, hit, and stay closed. Open it, hit, and stay open. When you see Guro Inosanto and Guro Joel do this, sometimes there won't be a lot of explanation. They'll do like 12 angles, and it looks like, oh my, I can't do 12 things. There's only 2 things. Forehand angles, you're closing them and hitting and staying closed. Backhand angles, you're opening them, hitting, and staying open. Okay, so the feed would go like this. Everybody start open. This is not as good as in person, but it's what we can do. You all stay with double stick. Don't drop either of your sticks. This is supposed to be double stick versus single stick abecedarios. That's what you're doing. So as I feed you angle 1, you close on my sticks, and then you meet it and you stay closed. As I give you angle 2, you reverse scissor open, you meet it and stay open. Now 3 and 4, you're doing the same thing. You're just going to go on the midline, okay? Scissor close this 3, meet it on, you will always meet it on the high line though, regardless. Scissor open this 4, meet it on the high line. And then what I teach most people for the, stay where you're at, for the 5, the 5's coming at you like this. To start, you just go right down the middle and just cut it, right? So you close, everybody open, because you just opened up. So close this 5, meet it and stay closed. That's it. That's the, for the first level of my curriculum, that's right side dominant, double stick versus single stick abecedario level 1. So let's put the whole thing together. Everybody open. So I'm going to feed you through the technology, okay? Close the 1, meet it and stay closed. Open the 2, meet it and stay open. Close the 3, meet it and stay closed. Open the 4, meet it and stay open. Close the 5, meet it and stay closed. Okay? And sometimes, depending on the proficiency of the person in front of me, I will feed Regino Illustrissimo, and there's no change. Close, hit, open, hit, close, hit, open, hit. All you're doing is reacting to the elevation. Okay, so it's a really nice little family of drills. Everybody go with long to short. Long to short. Okay. All you have to add, I think we've been working on this for a while, is your 4 count. Hit the temple, smash the toe, hit the chin, hit the temple. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first beat and the 4th beat are the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 count. For many years at the Inosanto Academy, in fact, when I first learned it, this foot, I know that looks a little silly, but that's traditional. That would come up and off the floor. You don't have to do that. I'm just showing you. And then years later, I think people didn't like doing that. So everybody kept that rear foot on the floor. But you might see that with that little lean there. The most important thing is make sure your head doesn't go too low on the second beat. Okay, so you're ready. Everybody close. So here's the position when you're closed, right? And I know I have a black shirt and a black knife trainer. Don't drop your knife trainer. Let me just make this point. When you were doing the backhand series, you were here, right? Now you're here. So that's the only difference. So all you're doing really is you're adding the 4 count into the mix. So everybody backhand my angle 1 and go back to home base, make the 4 count. That's it. So you backhand, you bring it back, you make the 4 count. Okay, we could do as many reps of that as necessary. Everybody backhand my angle 2, make the X, and then make the 4 count. Backhand, make the X, make the 4 count. That's it. And then on the 3, everybody backhand it, make a single redondo, and then make the 4 count. That's it. Okay. And again, I've taught well beyond what I just showed you, but I'm trying to give you the level 1 curriculum only in isolation. Okay, everybody open. So you're about to do exactly what you were just doing, double stick versus single stick Abecedario motion, but you're holding this. So everybody close the 1, meet it and stay closed. Open the 2, meet it and stay open. Close the 3, meet it and stay closed. Open the 4, meet it and stay open. Close the 5, meet it and stay closed. Okay, you just did all the level 1, long and short. Almost like all these weapons configurations work together or something. Put your stick down. Put your stick down. I may go 5 minutes over. If you need to leave, please leave. And no, and I'm sorry, I can't. I'm sorry, I love martial arts and I can't shut up and I go long. If you have to leave, please leave. And I apologize that I can't ever stick to a schedule. Okay, knife. So just look at it real quickly. One side would feed angles 1 through 5, and now I'm going back to, you know, either Eskrima 1 or La Costa 1 through 5. Your job, and we've determined, my students and I, this is the hardest weapons configuration to teach through the technology. All the other stuff I can give you fairly easily. Okay, as I go to give you an angle 1, your job is to just impede. So basically what you want is you want me to cut at Largo, you want me to cut my arm, okay? So you impede the 1. You don't, okay, so some of you are gunting, and I appreciate that. Right now, dial it back, do less. It's just that. Like, as you feed me, your angle 1 from your perspective is this line, right? I just go here. Then when you give me 2, I just go here. 3, 4, and 5. My goal is just to cut you, right? And so as I give you angle 1, you just impede. 2, impede. 3, impede. 4, impede. 5. Okay, and 5, you don't have to. 5, I usually come straight down on it because I don't want to get stabbed, okay? Now, this is actually a really interesting point. Conrad, bring your trainer closer to your camera. Okay, so that is a plastic trainer for a 2-sided blade, and that's not bad. This is a trainer for a 1-sided blade. I can get away with what I tend to like to do on this, which is reinforcing with my thumb with a 1-sided blade. If Conrad, excuse me, had a real blade that was 2-sided, that's a bad day for him. Yes. So he cuts his thumb in half. So starting to just develop some edge awareness, even though, I don't know what happened to me, man. These days, I really like my plastic trainers because I just sort of cut and I don't feel bad at all. Even if I go a little harder and a little faster, the metal trainers, they hurt. So, I mean, unless you're padded up, these days I'm all about my plastic trainers. So it's really important when you do this that you feel like you have control for that split second where you obstruct or you get cut. All right. So you would obstruct the 1, obstruct the 2, obstruct the 3, obstruct the 4, and obstruct the 5, okay? And what's really hard, when you're the feeder, you have to be committed. It's very easy, like if I'm feeding one of you, if you don't move, it's very easy for me to freeze this out. And that actually screws up my training. Because what I'm training, as much as I never want to get into a knife fight for the rest of my life, what I'm training is I'm feeding is using those first 5 angles, you know, to do damage. So if I freeze it for you, I'm really wrecking both of our training. Okay. We're gonna have to just cover, there's 2 disarms, but they come off of a feed, and I'm gonna have to cover that next time, okay? Everybody pick up a single stick, or if you have like a staff or a Dos Manos stick. But if all you have is a regular, here, in fact, I'm gonna, here, okay? So if all you have is your regular, like Eskrima stick, hold it Dos Manos style, 2-handed, right? So palm up right hand, palm down left hand. So one-sided Eskrima 1, meaning I'm only hitting with this end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I end on my left shoulder. What we learn in one weapons configuration influences and informs the others. Okay, so that's one-sided. Later, and I know this is a short, imagine I had a little bit more length here to this. Later in the curriculum, we'll 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll go 2-sided. But for first level, staff or Dos Manos, we're just looking at one-sided. Okay, so one-sided is Eskrima 1. You're all smart enough and talented enough to be able to work on that until next week based on that. Okay, coordination drills with staff or with Dos Manos. You have hitting in high from your right side, and you have hitting in high from your left side. You have hitting in low from your right side. You have hitting in low from your left side. Those 4 tools, you now have everything that you need. So high, 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 high. Slight pause, start from the left. High, high, high. Done. We always start from the right side. Low, low, low. Low, low, low. Slight pause. Low, low, low. High, low, high. High, low, high. Slight pause. High, low, high. Low, high, low. Low, high, low. Slight pause. Low, high, low. Okay? Those are the requirements. I'm almost done. If you wanted to think about the others, it's not that hard. Okay? And I'm running out of the extra time I said I was going to take. So, but just super quick. Outlier is first. High, low, low. Right? Work both sides. Outlier is first. Low, high, high. Or outlier is third. High, high, low. Or low, low, high. Work both sides. Those aren't requirements though. 3 at both elevations on both sides. High, 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 low, low, low. And then high, low, high, and low, high, low. Those are the only combinations, okay? Panantukan, put your weapon down real fast. I should be done super quick here. Left lead, split entry and Sungab the eyes, split entry and Sungab the throat, split entry and punch, whether vertical or Western punch, split entry and monitor the rear hand. That's it. Those 4, really 4 variations on one technique. Lastly, apply to Eskrima Balintawak. We've already covered most of this. I put the stick neutral in my left hand. When we go wrist to wrist, that's lesson A, greetings, right? If I were hooked and we were wrist to wrist, that's the way we greet, say both hello and goodbye to each other. Lesson B, stances. No more than 2 fingers for a puño. Here's the good Balintawak block. I can rotate. I can squat and rotate. I can change my lead by advancing and rotate and squat and rotate. I can change my lead by retreating and rotate and squat and rotate. You now know everything you need to know about lesson B, stances. Try to stick to this. When we get rushed in this system, it turns into this. Try to avoid this. This is what you want. This is textbook, okay? Lesson C, the 12 strikes of Balintawak. I already taught it to you at the beginning of this class. Lesson D, the 12 strikes halfway to defense. You don't go all the way through. They're watik. 6 here. I'm sorry, 5 is there. 6, 7. The rest of them should be pretty self. Here, I'll just finish it. 9, 10, and then here's 11. Boom. You don't go fully through. Lesson E, the 12 strikes all the way through to defense. Okay, 5, you just go here, boom. 6 and 7, let me show them to you. Here's 6, it goes downward diagonal to defense. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 are pretty intuitive. They just go all the way through. 10 always seems a little awkward to me. 12 is the way you've been doing it. So you already know. Okay? Aside from disarms with single knife, we just went over every single requirement for yellow belt. Now, why do I have belts? Because in 2010, Guro Inosanto, to the surprise of a lot of people, I had only been an instructor for about 2 years, asked his instructors, if you have an FMA program, would you mind please doing colored belts? And I was newer, okay. Some of the people who've been around forever were shocked. My guess, he's never confirmed this, I think he just got tired of explaining, like a system like Doce Paris, apprentice instructors like a first-degree black belt, associate instructors like a third-degree black belt, full instructor is like a 5th or a 6th-degree black belt. I think he got tired of that, and I think he was just like, oh, we're just going to have belts because people know what that is. Okay, so my program, I have a mixed belt and phase program. Yellow and orange are intermediary. Green is your phase 1. Blue is intermediary. Purple is phase 2. Brown is intermediary. Red is phase 3. And then black belt is phase 4. And then you're eligible to test for apprentice instructor once you complete the curriculum. All right. Anyways, if you want more information about formalizing your distance training with me, for anybody watching, stoopsomalc.com, like online martial arts learning community. All of you, thank you so much. It's awesome, awesome, and I'm very, very, very grateful for you and for your time. Chinese, Filipino, Thai, Indonesian, French and Dog Brothers, Japanese. All right, thanks everybody. Be well. Have a great week. I will get the